In 1975, only 800,000 students studied abroad.
In 2009, over 3.2 million students studied abroad.
We learned about globalization in class, and with the rapid increase in students studying abroad over the past few decades, my group and I think that there's a connection between students studying abroad and globalization.
What do you think?
I studied abroad in Florence, Italy last semester.
I studied in London.
I went to Spoleto in Italy.
I decided to study abroad because I grew up traveling when I was younger and always had an interest in seeing different cultures and seeing different peoples and how they lived.
I wanted to study abroad because I thought there's no better time that you could live in another country for 6 or I guess however long, a semester long time, so I was excited about doing it.
Kind of the one thing my parents said when they took me to college is that if I went to a cheaper college, then they would allow me to study abroad, and that's something I was interested in doing. So.
I've always been interested in living in London. I'm an art history major, and there's a lot of great art museums in London, so that's part of why I chose London.
It definitely opened my eyes to different ways that you can go about a day. Italians are a lot different than Americans, so it was interesting to see how they do it versus how we do it here.
Yeah, we met a count in Florence who taught us how to, drink wine correctly. We went to cooking classes. We learned some of the language. It was
It's taught me that everyone is human, just that you can't judge people based on anything because when it comes down to it, people are the same no matter where you go.
In a way, it taught me that that I think that Americans kind of think all high and mighty about themselves sometimes, too much almost, and we don't take for granted enough that there's such amazing opportunities in other countries.
Yeah, well,
There's a period in Spoleto called Riposo, which is kind of like a siesta in Spain, where they take a break from stores and restaurants and stuff. We didn't know about it, and so every time we got out of class, we couldn't go to any stores or anything because they were all closed for the day.
Unexpected would be just basically not to expect anything, and that wherever you go, wherever you travel, there's always going to be something that comes up, and the best thing to do is just to learn to laugh at everything because it's the best way and the most productive way to get through it, kind of.
I guess all the different food that we don't eat here, that was wasn't unexpected. I knew it was going to happen, but there definitely is tons of food that we wouldn't even choose to eat that they eat all the time.
The people and the food. Everyone says the food in London's really bad, but it's actually really good. And the people were really nice to me, so.
One thing I studied in Sicily, and one of the main things that I saw that was different was that there was a much more larger sense of community, and that everyone really depended on each other, and there was a whole day. Sunday was dedicated to just walking around the town and asking how people were and just making sure your neighbors are okay and having dinner, just completely dedicated to each other and nothing more.
They're very more laid back in Italy, and you meet Italians and they'll just graciously invite you over for dinner, and they'll just love you and want to know your name, want to know who you are, and it's just a great culture.
I would definitely recommend that everyone studies abroad because I feel like there's no better experience than putting yourself in a completely uncomfortable situation and seeing how you can react and how you can grow to it.
100%. Yeah, it's a great way to, even if you're not interested in the classes that are being offered, it's a great way to go to other places in the world, to see other cultures, to experience things that you wouldn't have a chance experiencing here. I think it's definitely something everyone should try. Yeah.
Absolutely. Even if you're like an education major, works harder to study abroad, there's summer programs that you can do, and I definitely suggest doing it because there's other cultures other than America and the United States, and it's important to learn those.
Yes, I'd highly recommend doing it. I think it's something that any college student should do if they have the time or means to be able to do it. They should definitely do it.
And studies show that in 1975, only 800,000 students studied abroad worldwide, but as of 2009, there's up to 3 million students have studied abroad. Why do you think that is?
I think that more people are taking advantage of the study abroad programs to become, at least I know that Charleston offers programs. There's so many other ones that are they're more affordable, and people have easier access to it, so it makes sense.
Probably because with the internet, more people know about studying abroad, and more people, just the connections and the globalization happening from the internet, everyone can figure it out. And I definitely think that's a great thing because different cultures are so interesting and so amazing that people need to experience it and at least know about it and be aware, than being very one-sided and only knowing our culture, because it's amazing to understand other cultures.
Part of it is more accessibility to being able to travel, and then part of it is maybe just more people being curious. You have the internet now, you have foreign movies, you have more of a sense of relation to people that aren't as close to each other, so there's more curiosity to study abroad, for sure.
After interviewing these 4 students, we noticed a trend in their responses.
Globalization is happening and students are aware of this.
Through technology and accessibility of meeting people outside of our own country, a curiosity has grown in students during this era.
The uprising trend of study abroad students worldwide has transformed our world into a global village.
Studying abroad is a way to promote cross-cultural appreciation and engagement in differences we would otherwise never experience.
Yay, globalization!